Hi everyone, good afternoon. So in lieu of your next class, or instead of your next class, I've decided to allow you the time to do this on your own since it's just writing. It's another SWOT analysis is a part of it, and it's your report. It's what's called on your Moodle as the Coffee Connection report. I think for both groups it says week 6 Coffee Connection and report writing. If it doesn't say that by the time you see this, it will by Monday afternoon. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up all the vocabulary you could need for the report and give you tips in this week, in week 6 for both classes. Okay. Don't worry about this hidden homework and stuff. I'm changing a few things around. So all you'll have to do is write this report, and it won't even be due next week. I think you have, let me check up here. If you ever want to know where your assignments are due, they're up here in assignments. So Coffee Connection report is in, okay, so 2 weeks. So yeah, actually it will be, I think the end of not this week, but the next week, right? Okay, so what is it? It's really quite simple. It's really just rote learning, so auswendig lernen. That's all you gotta do. You're going to go for my Monday class, it's in week 2, and for my Tuesday class, it's in week 3. But you'll find these two things here: example report, final exam, and example answer. So click on this. This is what the final exam 2 years ago looked like, right? So you basically just had to read all of this for your final exam, highlight the important stuff, and then prepare to write a report. Whoops, just a moment. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to close that out. Nope, don't want to click that. I'm going to click this. Okay, then you'll click on example answer. This is going to be like your cheat sheet for the exam. You can't, obviously, you can't use it on the day of the exam, but you can memorize the structure and some of the vocabulary exactly. So again, auswendig lernen, right? So you click on this. You start with an email, right? Brief email. You can remember this exactly. And then your report always has to follow this order: an introduction, findings, then you're going to have a conclusion and some recommendations. I talked about this in the second class, I think the third class for the Tuesday group. I talked about what has to be in each one of these sections. Actually, I don't think I did this for the Tuesday group, so this might be new information for you guys. So, in your introduction section, it's always the same pieces. You're going to say what's the purpose of the report, what it includes, and where you got it from. Again, what is the purpose of this report, what it includes, and where you got this information from. So in this case, for this test, said the purpose of the report is to shed some light on the market situation Peloton currently faces. You can use a sentence for any company you're going to get. Yeah, doesn't matter if it's Peloton, Walmart, First, whatever, right? You can copy this exact same sentence, you can memorize it. You can memorize the next one because they all include the same thing. It includes a finding section complete with a SWOT analysis. So there's your second SWOT analysis, and a conclusion section. And we'll make recommendations for the future of Peloton. Now, if you notice here, findings and conclusion are capitalized. That's because it's the title of the section. It says here it will make recommendations. It doesn't say it has a recommendation section. Listen, I'm not going to knock off points if you don't capitalize this and you capitalize that. This is just the right way to do it. And then it was based on information obtained in an investigation done by our consultation firm. That was the case for this exam. Okay. When you do your homework report coffee connection, I don't remember where the information is gathered from. I think the person's name is Pia something. Yeah. So instead, you just say it is based on information obtained from Pia, blah, blah, blah. And maybe she's a consultant or an employee or whatever, and you just say who she is. On your exam, same thing. Just pay attention to where the information comes from, but all you have to remember, the language you have to remember, is it is based on information obtained in an investigation. Yeah. Then you're going to have a findings section. Now, here, I did this with a class in class, and we didn't really have the time to create a graphic, but I recommend you do that. Um, using some of the information you can on Word, or not some of the information, some of the tools you have on Word, or I believe you can make one here, Mind Map DE. I'm not 100% certain. No, sorry, this is not. I have to find the right website. The sorry, I'm chewing my words here. I have to find the right website. It's something like Mind something. It's a German website. You can make quick graphics that look like this, right? SWOT analysis graphic. Anything like this is the classic, yeah. The four squares like this. You can do something like this. I'd like to show you. I know this goes against Datenschutz, so I hope the students here don't mind. You can complain if it's a problem for you. Um, but some students did a really great job. In fact, I'll just stop sharing my screen for a moment and see if I can do it without their names. They did a really great job on their hiring the right candidate thing, and I know this was a very, very annoying task. Probably won't do it in the future. But I was very impressed by what these people did. Here it is. Just a moment, bear with me. So this is how they made their SWOT analysis. Just like the graphic I just showed you, but they did it on their hiring the right candidate thing. So you know the guy's name is Philip or something, but last name Philip, first name Philip, you don't know. Yeah, just a little graphic like this. And a good thing to notice here is they didn't just say like tough competition, strong competition, weak market. They wrote full sentences here. That's what you should do on your Coffee Connection report, and that's what you should do on your final exam. And I'm going to put stuff on the Moodle that will help you, like what we call sentence frames. So I'll give you the language, and all you have to do is put in the right information, right? So they did an excellent job here. Also, if you haven't finished your hiring the right candidate report, this is an excellent example of hiring the right candidate. They did the email, then the graphic, and then the vocabulary, and they asked for moderate feedback. Yeah. So anyway, anytime you write a SWOT analysis in the future, so for your Coffee Connection report, if you haven't done your hiring the right candidate, you could do it then. And if for your final exam, make a graphic for your SWOT analysis. Okay. I'm not saying that this is my preference, that I love this, that I need this. I'm just trying to follow the regulations of the department. So I think this is expected by the majority of teachers, so I have to be held to that expectation as well. I might sound like I'm contemptuous of SWOT analyses, like I don't care. I'm just saying I think all of you guys know how to write a SWOT analysis. I think you do it in your other classes. I think you did it in school. I don't think it's anything incredibly new. I think you guys are doing more advanced stuff. But anyway, this is a language task, so it's more about the sentences that you use in your SWOT analysis. And as I said in week 6 in the section there, I'm going to put language that you can use for your SWOT analysis. Okay, back to the report. Okay, so in your findings, you can all 60 something students that I have can say we identified the following key areas as crucial for X. So in this case, it would be Coffee Connection for your upcoming report. And whatever company you get on your final exam, you put here in the form of a SWOT analysis, and then you just copy and paste your graphic, or you draw, you make, you write your graphic right here. Your findings is your SWOT analysis. That's what it is. Your findings is your SWOT analysis. Now, you might have noticed here, we have also compiled information about Peloton stock price and subscription rate into a graph. You do not have to do this for Coffee Connection. There is no graph, and you do not have to do this for your final exam. I know why we do. Listen, I don't want to get into a long explanation here. I'm just going to say you don't have to do it. It's not necessary. Okay. I don't think you care about the Begründung behind it or whatever. You just don't have to do it. The justification is not necessary. Okay. So after the SWOT analysis, what do? You come to a conclusion. So basically, from your findings, you come to a conclusion. Yeah, what is the conclusion? The conclusion is what you must do, what you have to do. Yeah. So I use the phrase that I'm going to put on your Moodle as well. In light of the above findings, yeah, Peloton is facing an issue with negative media attention due to safety, blah, blah, blah. Peloton must find a way to tackle the issue. They must address this publicity. The company needs to leverage the partnerships it has made with Adidas. Okay, so these are the things that it must and it has to do, and what the company must and has to and needs to do. Yeah, so those are keywords you can use: has to, must, and needs to. All right. Now, and this is the case of Peloton, must address this publicity, has to tackle the issue of home-based workouts, and needs to leverage partnerships. In your case, for Coffee Connection, you're going to have problems, I believe, with employee motivation. You're going to have problems with the interior, so the space. Yeah. And you're going to have problems with the customer base, the target market. I'm telling you these things. You still have to read it, right? You're still going to need the details, but these are the main things that you should look out for. The problem with the target market or the customer base, maybe even some dissatisfied customers, problem with the interior and how to attract new customers. So the physical interior. Well, what does that mean if you have a problem with the physical interior? Well, I thought this would be like Hausverstand, but it seems like a lot of students come up with some really wacky, weird ideas that don't make any sense. If you have a problem with the interior, get a contractor, hire someone to renovate, buy new furniture, reorganize the existing furniture. But if you buy new furniture, it means you should take out a loan, right? So if you buy it, if that's going to be one of your suggestions on Coffee Connection, buying new furniture, then you should also include in the recommendation section, we should take out a loan in order to finance. Yeah, so please, this report is a thread. It must follow each thing, each part must follow the other part clearly. So the introduction tells everything that's going to be in the report, where it comes from, what's the purpose. The findings has the SWOT analysis. The conclusion is a summary of the findings, and the recommendations is how we should fix the situation. So conclusion is what, recommendations is how. And this is where you talk about some specific things. And this is where you're going to have to be creative and come up with some of your own ideas, right? Now, if you noticed, I had this, your SWOT analysis is going to be in bullet points. I had a small paragraph for the conclusion, and the recommendations are in bullet points again. I recommend this. I recommend following this format. If you're someone who is an advanced writer and speaker of English, I did not have you in KF. I haven't collected any real writing from you yet, so I don't know. If I haven't had you in KF, some people I've had, and I know they're capable of going their own way. But if you feel a little insecure about your English, this is what the class is really for, to help the people who are a little bit weaker or in the middle and need this kind of background to lean on. Okay? So even though those advanced people out there, I would follow this format pretty closely and just get a little creative with the ideas. Yeah. So I would start each recommendation section with it would be prudent to. Prudent is a good piece of vocabulary. It means it would be a good idea to. And then I like to do this. I think it's the easiest to remember, and please make sure that they agree. It would be prudent to. That means you need to have a verb here. It would be prudent to lower, to recover, to support, to leverage. You can't say it would be prudent, we suggest doing, right? Then it doesn't make any sense. Now, some rules I'd like you to remember. If you don't want to follow me this way, you want to use, let's enable this. Oops, sorry. Let's enable this. If you want to use a word like recommend, advise, suggest, or propose, you must remember there is a specific rule. We propose plus ing. What does that mean? We propose doing or renovating or making or financing. So you need an ing verb. It's the same for all the other verbs here. We recommend renovating. I advise financing this with a loan from the bank. We suggest making new advertising campaigns, something like that. But the grammar rule is always the same. If you put a that in the middle, then it changes that. So we propose that Jim, I think the name owner of Coffee Connection is named Jim. We propose that Jim take out a new loan from the bank to finance, right? So then you don't have to follow the rule. But if you say we propose, sorry about that, propose taking out a new loan, then you have to write it like that. So please keep it in mind. This is one of the biggest mistakes that I see on the exam is the incorrect usage of these four verbs. Yeah, so recommend, advise, suggest, propose. What's the difference between all of them? Nothing really. I would just say, let me delete this now. Recommend is like Alltag, Umgangssprache. Then we have suggest, then we have advise, then we have propose. So recommend, it's not like it's not business English, it's just okay in everyday English too. Propose is more often used in business English. So recommend is like semi-formal, and suggest is going more formal, advise is going more formal, and propose is the most formal. Okay? So this is what your report is going to look like. So what do you have to do for homework? Well, week 5. And by the way, in my groups, I gave you some language for giving opinion. So giving opinion in Anbetracht, estimation, but obviously you don't have to pass it on to your colleagues. But all of these words can be used in your report too, in your recommendations. If you don't want to write it my way, you can say, I have come to the following, I recommend the following. I am firmly of the opinion. I firmly believe. I am of the opinion that I am convinced that Jim needs or John needs to take out a loan. As far as I'm concerned, I believe Jim needs to take out a loan. Considering the location of Coffee Connection, Jim, I don't know if it's Jim or John, sorry, so I'm going to call him Jimmy John. Considering the location of Coffee Connection, Jimmy John must take out a loan or must reach these new customers by providing X, Y, Z, Z, whatever. Keeping in mind that Coffee Connection is in a cool or trendy neighborhood in Western Vancouver, Jimmy John must, blah, blah, blah. So you can use all of these phrases on, that's why I put them on here for any report in the future. I had them, you use them, or I put them up for your hiring the right candidate activity, but that was a total catastrophe, at least in my Tuesday class. But it's still useful language for your reports in the future. So I'm going to copy and paste these again and put them in a link. Um, or you know what I'll do? I'll copy and paste them and put them up here in class vocab. So guys, all of the vocabulary for your reports will be here in the class vocabulary section. Okay, so what do you have to do? You have to read, do this for homework. You have to read this, Coffee Connection info. You click on that. You do this reading. It's kind of more not kind of, it is more information than your actual test. It'll take a little bit more time, but here are some findings, right? Important. Coffee Connection was filled primarily with tables for 2 or 4. You decide if this is a strength or a weakness or an opportunity or a threat. Or most customers with laptops dressed quite casually. Some were older and carry blah, blah. Is that important? Doesn't really sound like it, but there's got to be something important in this paragraph here for your SWOT analysis. So you read through this information, yeah, and you determine what is a strength, weakness, opportunity, or threat? Coffee Connection is moderately successful financially. I'd say that's a strength. Even worse, the customers with laptops tend to buy coffee and sit for between 1 and 3 hours. Sounds like a weakness. But if people are sitting there for a long period of time, there could be an opportunity for that. And you can put that in the recommendations. How you could transform these customers into, or these buy one and done customers into repeat customers. You know what I'm saying? So it's up to you. I can't be there in your head coming up with the ideas. The only thing I can do is give you the right language and tell you how to go through it. Demographic results, this is going to be information for your SWOT. This is going to be information for your SWOT, all these quotes and stuff here. So everything here is going to be information for your findings. All right, then you'll click this. This is what it looks like inside of Coffee Connection. Just to help you, this is what it looks like here. Oh, there's a stage here, and there's a counter. Seems like these guys here are blocked off from the stage. Only 3 tables border the stage. Seems like a weakness and an opportunity, right? So please keep that in mind. Then I would recommend, and I said do this for homework. Originally, you were supposed to do this and then share this information with your partner, but let's be real, guys. It's kind of stupid. You guys are all able to determine this information for yourself, and if you have issues, you can always ask me as a question. So what I'm saying is this information here is really going to guide you and help you write your report. Look at this. 5. Suggest some logical ways, John. John's ideal coffee shop could advertise and promote itself to attract his ideal customer type. So that's going to be it's helping you find your recommendations. Describe the channel, key physical and service elements. Use vocabulary like this in your SWOT analysis. Channel. Don't just say, oh, the way he sells. In the way he sells, or some kind of ridiculous made up thingy. Use the language you see. It's okay. It's not plagiarism. You're allowed to use the vocabulary you see in the document. Okay? And it actually says, as Pia, write in simple and clear language. So this is who you're going to be, your Pia. So you could say, it was based on information I obtained while doing an investigation at your shop. Something like that in the introduction, right? So you need these 3 documents to write your Coffee Connection report. And remember, I know I said it about 15 minutes ago. How do you write your Coffee Connection report? It should look like the example answer in week 2 or 3. So this is how it's going to look. Yeah, again, you do not need a graph section. Now I'm going to upload a lot of vocabulary to help you write this. If you have any questions in the next 2 weeks, please feel free to reach out to me. Don't sit there in silence. I understand that you guys are students and you have a lot to do, or you're lazy. And this is 12, 13 years ago for me as well. So I remember I was a major lazy guy. And I didn't ask half the time because I waited until the last minute. If I can help you, I will help you, even if it's the last minute. If I'm too busy, then that's unfortunate. But because we did not have class, I will make myself more available during the week. If you have any questions, shoot me a WhatsApp message, send me an email, give me a call on my work or my cell phone, and I will answer and help you out. If you want to have a Zoom meeting, if you want to say, hey, Andrew, I've written my report. Can we go over it real quick? 5 minutes on Zoom. Absolutely. I've done this in the past. But the problem is maybe 3 or 4 students a semester take advantage of my offer. But if you just want to write it on your own, you don't need any further information, great. Mazel tov. Power to you. Fantastic. Yeah, so that is what is going to be due in 2 weeks. So my Monday group, I'm not going to see you until this is due. So if you need any help, please ask me. And my Tuesday group, you will see me not this week, but next week, so you can ask any questions that you might have then. And I'll leave some time at the end of class, but I think this task is pretty self-explanatory. For the advanced people, and the classes are always mixed. So please be sympathetic to that fact. For the advanced people, you might say, this is really easy. Yes, it's really easy. It's just compiling information into a report. That's it. Of 500 words. You see here it says 603. Minimum of 500 words, guys. Minimum of 500 words. It's not hard. It's just taking things and putting them in the right order. Now, for some people who say, I've never been good at English, languages are not my things, I don't have an affinity for them, I'm not interested, I understand this is hard for you. I'm sympathetic to that as well. Following my formula is the best way to do it. No one has ever failed the final exam or on this report with me as their teacher. Okay, because I try to give a foolproof. It's not just because I'm nice and I want to pass you. so everyone likes me. That's not my goal here. My goal is to actually help you memorize and remember this with a foolproof method. All right? So I've talked to you enough. I'm going to put all the information. I'll direct everything. Give you tons of direction on Moodle so you know where to find everything. I jumped around the Moodle a lot. I'm going to put all of this information in your week 6, in both groups, week 6. Okay? Follow the directions there, do your coffee connection stuff, write the report, have it in 14 days. Now, you will be allowed to rewrite it for a better grade as well. All right? Guys, thank you for listening. Take care. Have a nice day.